Okay, I don't want my words to be twisted here. I'm not saying that the Vancouver Canucks have a good prospect pool. I'm just saying that it might be just a tad better than you would expect. So, the reason everybody is talking about Vancouver's prospect pool is because of a few years worth of Jim Benning trades wherein the first round picks of the Vancouver Canucks and sometimes the second round picks of the Vancouver Canucks have gotten sent away to other teams. This is, quite understandably, something that pissed off a lot of the fan base when it comes to the idea of rebuilding for the future, stocking up on young talent, and building a supporting cast for guys like Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes, who are younger. They're not as old as guys like Miller and Horvat, etc., and just taking away their group cast behind them. This is the Elite Prospects Instagram page. What they did was they posted a graphic ranking the top 100 affiliated skater prospects by team. Now, they did publish their own list of the top 100 affiliated prospects, and there are 7 Buffalo Sabres, 6 Red Wings guys, 6 Anaheim Ducks, and you can see that the Vancouver Canucks have 1 player in the Elite Prospects top 100 affiliated skater prospects fantasy. Not even fantasy, it's just a list. And that player is Yonatan Likaramaki, who was there at like 40-somethings overall. It was something like that. But either way, this Instagram post was posted onto the Canucks subreddit saying, yeah, this is just sad. It's as if we were an actual cup contender. Because look at the teams around Vancouver in this ranking right here of 1 player on the list. The Colorado Avalanche have 1, so do the Penguins and the Bruins. The Lightning and the Capitals have 0. St. Louis has 2. These teams are all Stanley Cup championship winning teams, and Vancouver is smack dab in the middle there, as if they're amongst that group. But no, they're not. The comments go into a discussion saying, hey, you know, it's prospects, right? So guys that are already on the team don't really count. You have guys like Pettersson and Hughes and Höglander and Podkolzin that are all younger players, and if they were included in this kind of ranking, hey, you'd probably see some more Canucks guys crack the top 100 or whatever it is. But either way, what I wanted to do in this video was talk about some prospects in the Vancouver Canucks system that I actually like a lot more than I'd say the common consensus would go out there and indicate. Now, I'm not by any means saying that these guys are franchise caliber players. Nah, it wouldn't really surprise me if some of these guys don't even end up making the NHL at all. But when it comes to what the Canucks do have in their prospect system, there are some names that I think you can justifiably be a little excited for. Starting out with what we had seen at the, the Prospects, Penticton, what the heck are these things called? They're called so many different things in the different areas of North America. I mean, the Traverse City, Detroit Red Wings have their own thing. There was the Buffalo Sabres 2022 Prospects Challenge, I believe it was called. The Californias, they have their own thing. And the Vancouver Canucks, hey, they're participating in the Penticton one with Calgary and Edmonton and Winnipeg. The Canucks prospects honestly did pretty well, and I get it, you could go out there and say, hey, you know, the Canucks' best guy, Yonatan Likaramaki, isn't even there, haha, so this team is pretty good, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of these guys were indeed AHL caliber players last year, so there's a lot of experience that I feel many of these players were able to achieve. You had the best WHL guy last year playing for Vancouver as well, which is nice to see, but at the end of the day, when you talk about some of these guys, there are some individual things that I think stand out more so than others. Starting off with Danila Klimovich. Now, Klimovich is a guy that the Vancouver Canucks took in, the second round in the 2021 draft? And ever since coming over to Abbotsford from Belarus, he had looked like a really interesting project of a player. Nothing guaranteed by any means, but he was a really skilled guy playing for the top Belarus league. He absolutely dominated international tournaments as a member of Team Belarus, and even though he was only 17, 18 years old, Danila Klimovich had himself a skill set that had potential. If you were going to see this guy make the NHL one day, it was going to be because Danila Klimovich found a gear that allowed him to play the game with his puck skills and through-the-legs dekes and Michigan attempts and everything, while also keeping up with NHL caliber speed. Klimovich showed off very well, and he got a lot more comfortable as the tournament went on. People were talking about his physicality. He was going out there hitting guys. He scored some pretty nice goals, and he made some beautiful passes as well. Klimovich heading over to the Abbotsford Canucks for 2022-2023 as a 19-year-old is definitely going to be interesting to see, because after one season of pro hockey in North America under his belt, I'm very intrigued as to how he's going to apply that knowledge to his game in the future. We know this guy's a really frustrated player when things don't go his way. That was exhibited throughout several parts of the 21-22 season, as well as, heck, even in this tournament. In the first game, he wasn't really all too great comparative to the rest of the performance he had. And so, when it comes to Klimovich, I'm pretty excited for this guy. In my opinion, he probably has a top 9 ceiling, maybe a second power play winger that could have some very nice oohs and ahs behind his game. But yeah, at the end of the day, even though a top 9 ceiling sounds good on paper, there's going to be a lot of work that Klimovich needs to put in before he actually gets to that level. Because as a guy from Belarus, I mean, he was so raw, right? Heading over to some other guys that I wanted to talk about here, let's talk about the goaltender, because Arturs Silovs has made Michael DiPietro a lot less desirable of a prospect when it comes to the goaltending long term. Silovs showed off very well in the first game for Vancouver against Calgary in the Penticton Young Stars tournament. That's what it's called. The Young Stars. Yeah, I knew that name was kind of floating around in the back of my head, and it just didn't come up when I was wanting it to. But either way, Silovs posted a 3-0 shutout against Calgary in the first game, and that sounds great. But you have to realize that this game was actually a 0-0 nail-biter for the majority of the game. It wasn't until the third period where we actually had a goal on Dustin Wolf. I do think that Dustin Wolf had a much more difficult task than Arturs Silovs in the game, but at the end of the day, I mean, Silovs still had the shutout, so good on him for the result, eh? Silovs had himself a .888 save percentage and a 310 goals against in 10 Abbotsford Canucks games. However, he was very good for the Trois-Rivières Lions in the ECHL. He also suited up for Team Latvia at the World Championships, posting up a very good record, a .952 and a 122 goals against in 4 games. He's wearing his Canucks mask on this Team Latvia, so you can see he's wearing the red jersey and everything. It's kind of funny to see the clash of colors there. But still, Arturs Silovs, despite the fact that his AHL numbers have not been fantastic so far, he's got himself a pretty interesting opportunity heading into 2022-2023, assuming Michael DiPietro is not going to be there. There have been some very publicized trade rumors about DiPietro, and a lot of Canucks fans, myself included, kind of said, okay, well, it's going to be Demko Martin with the main Vancouver Canucks squad. Silovs is going to stick around because you could see the Vancouver Canucks really want to develop him properly, and then you're going to have yourselves an extra goaltender in there like Colin Delia, for example. And that seems to really be the plan when you consider Michael DiPietro's inevitable departure from the team. Silovs has kind of taken over, in my opinion, when it comes to just being the next one in terms of the goaltending prospects this team has. I don't really consider Spencer Martin as a prospect, but either way, when it comes to how Silovs has been performing in these All-Star games, not All-Star games, prospect games and World Championship games, there's been a lot of progression here, and I like that a lot. Speaking about a guy who has been developing a lot, let's talk about Arshdeep Bains to end off this video, because man, this guy is an absolute tank. I know he's not in the thumbnail or anything, but man, it's so nice seeing what Arshdeep Bains is able to do, especially on that top line with Niels Ammann. Bains is looking like a player, man. I don't know how good he's going to be suiting up for Abbotsford next year in a full, 72 games or whatever it is they play in the AHL, 74? But when it comes to getting that call-up, the Justin Bailey special where the guy's up and down, I'd be really interested in seeing how Arshdeep Bains translates to NHL ice immediately, because so far, I mean, his WHL stint was already impressive. He works extraordinarily hard, he's skilled, he's big, he's fast, he's all these things, and now he's got an opportunity to play for his hometown team, and that absolutely makes me want to see him succeed even more when you acknowledge his history and where he's from. So, talk in the comments your thoughts about these Vancouver Canucks prospects, Danila Klimovich, Arturs Silovs, and Bains as well. Also, talk in the comments your thoughts about just the Vancouver Canucks not having a good prospect core in general. It's been a problem this team has had the past few years, but the guys that are here, I definitely don't want to write them off in any capacity. Would it be nice to have a few more first-round caliber guys? 110%, man! Give me Dylan Guenther back! I want to see that guy play for the Vancouver Canucks soon, but unfortunately, we cannot undo many of Jim Benning's past tribulations, but talk in the comments either way all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9, and bye.